I've seen people who literally go to work 8 hours a day and they are data entry clerks, right? They literally sit there and they punch numbers, from bank accounts and so forth, details, right? They walk out of there, they're super happy. They're just happy, right? Because what they've done is that they have connected what they do to something much more bigger than them. It could be about their customers. It could be about the fact that what they do is going to allow them to go for a holiday, maybe to save enough money to be able to buy an engagement ring to propose to their girlfriend. I mean, there could be lots of things, right, that are happening. But if you don't have that sense of purpose and meaning, I've talked to many traders, many investment bankers, many other professionals who are miserable, right? They're just not happy about where they are in their life, right? And so they've kind of lost that purpose or meaning. And so you got to really engage with that. And that's really important.
So you need to kind of find your silver lining as to why you're doing something. I think for me, I'm working on a systematic review on my thesis at the moment, and it's very much like that data entry. So at the moment, we're extracting the data from 116 randomized control trials, and I'm just punching all those numbers into a spreadsheet, right? But as you say, I can kind of connect the dots as to what this looks like in the grand scheme of things, how this is going to benefit, I guess, the research landscape in the implementation science space moving forward. So it brings me joy. It brings me a sense of, personal development, but also impact in terms of the greater good. I think one thing that I find in particular for me that's really important is the environment, along with the actual work you're doing itself and how it brings you meaning. But for me, something that is really important for me, if there's a festering issue within an environment, that's potentially what will unsettle me. And for people who are working in a job that they really love, or something they're doing that is they're really passionate about, but they have a workspace environment which could be considered toxic or problematic. Maybe they don't get along with some of their employees. How do they navigate those situations, even if they do have that passion, say with the example you used for those working in data entry or data collection?
That's a good question, man. I think this kind of connects back to those sort of values and motivators, right? If you're in environments where your values and motivators are not aligned, right, you're really working an uphill battle, right, to kind of make things work. And I think one element tied to that is a lot of the work that Amy Edmondson out of Harvard did, in the 1990s around this psychological safety, right? The idea that you should be able to come into work or whatever environment it is, and be able to say what you want to say without this fear of being humiliated or punished, right? And if you're kind of in that environment, right, a number of things are going to happen. One is you are not going to give your best, right, in those environments, because you're not going to push yourself, right, to some sort of extreme version. You're less likely to take risks, right, to try new things and to have a bit of variety in what you do. You'll probably stick to the safety path, right, in what you do. The other thing which is really interesting is also around the idea of collaboration, right? If you don't feel safe, you're not going to collaborate, right? You're going to be sticking to yourself. You're going to be probably less likely to want to be in a team environment with people, right? Because you don't trust them, right? And so, that trust piece, and knowing your peeps around you, right, is really important. And so that toxic environment piece, plays a massive role, and particularly with your manager, right? I mean, the stats are so clear on this. Study after study, it is, 60% of your reason, to stay or leave, right, with an organization is the relationship you have with your boss, right? And if you do not have a healthy relationship, you are more than likely going to look elsewhere, right? And there is so much talent that walks out the door in businesses as a result of that dysfunctional relationship.